Bem, pessoal, como vocês estão vendo, eu vou me apresentar em português, que o público fala português. Como vocês sabem, meu nome é Thiago Khalid, né? Thiago Estrela Khalid. E para os que estão acompanhando online, meu nome é Thiago Khalid, eu sou um mestrando aqui no CPGI, no TFPR, também no OSPEX, e eu e o Dário nós vamos lá para o CNDT. Então agora eu vou mudar de inglês só para treinar, né? So today I'm going to present my work, machine learning driven flaw detection for ultrasonic pipe inspection with acoustic lens. The oil and gas sector has many critical components in its infrastructure that is normally subject to wear and tear. This could be due to the fact that they are subject to high mechanical stresses or even the harsh environment that they usually operate. NDT, or non-destructive testing, is a common solution for measuring or assessing these components' structural health. For instance, on underwater pipes, ultrasound monoelement probes are commonly employed to measure the wall thickness, which is related to the structural health of a given pipe. In Brazil, we have a huge amount of oil extraction in a pre-salt basin where you have these components in deep waters. And deep waters imposes new challenges for NDT, namely the inspection of deep components require a huge amount of resources. Namely, you require a ship that can support a remotely operated vehicle which dives deep into the ocean and inspect a certain component. Additionally, the reinjection water of subsea pipes has high CO2 content, which means that it causes these non-uniform corrosion patterns, which we call pitting corrosions. These pitting corrosions imposes that to measure or to increase the probability of detecting a flaw, you need to assess the wall thickness with a monoelement at different locations. So this means that you will take longer to make that inspection. And since time is money in this type of scenario, you would spend more money. Nowadays, you can use a phased array transducer, which is a transducer with beam steering capabilities that overall increase your inspected area. So decrease the inspection duration. Back in the beginning of 2025, we proposed an acoustic lens, which is a simple solid metal device that is coupled to the transducer and roughly increases a lot the inspected area. So as a result, decreases a lot the inspection duration. The acoustic lens you can interpret the result of acoustic lens as a pipe projected into cylindrical coordinates. So now you will see the outer and inner wall echoes as a constant horizontal echo, parallel by each other. So here you can see the outer surface of the pipe and the inner surface of the pipe in an image where we call a sectorial scan, or S-scan for short. Each column of the sectorial scan represents a sector of the pipe. So, but when you include this new acoustic lens, inner reflections within the lens are also present, which is not desirable. And they introduce what we call geometric artifacts. The problem with geometrical artifacts is that they make the process of detecting a flaw much harder. For instance, here you can see a flaw that have low amplitude. And if you apply an automatic criteria, such as a classic threshold-based method, you get a result that does not help you at all to detect the flaw. What we are proposing is a method that somehow is trained on purely pristine, flawless pipes and is able to capture the normality patterns, and then the reinference somehow it will detect the flaw in its location. But we have two major constraints in our work. First, our data set was initially very small. So we had only 4 pipes to train our model. And besides that, we wanted to create a model that would detect any type of flaw. The model that we found that would suit these both constraints was an anomaly detection algorithm that is based on machine learning. So the data processing step is, first, we get the raw RF data from the ultrasound inspection. Then we would process this data through a delay sum algorithm to make the sectorial scan. From this sectorial scan, we crop the region of interest, where we expect the flaws to be, which is the region between the inner wall and the outer wall. And besides that, we split the region of interest into what we call a tile, which is this sub-rectangle. From each tile, we extract a set of features that will help our model to detect whether that given tile has an anomaly, a flaw, or not. Like this. Like I told you, the data set was acquired using a single probe, a single acoustic lens, and multiple cylindrical specimens, 4 namely. Here, as you can see, there are 2 examples, 2 specimens with different flaw geometries, here and here, that we will test our model upon. So the preparation of data set followed the following pipeline. We took the RF data, we processed into sectorial scans, and then we manually label each tile as anomalous or not. Just to be clear, the labeling is not required for training. The training does not require labeling. The labeling only for measuring our model performance. So we split the data set in a 70-30 scheme, where only flawless tiles were included in the train set. 15% of tiles with and without flaws were included in a validation set, where we run a grid search cross-validation. And finally, the rest were assigned for testing. Results. Well, we pretty much made 4 models. The 3 first models were based on different machine learning algorithms, and they came from the PyLD Python library, which is a library that implements multiple algorithms for anomaly detection and novelty detection. The last one was a local threshold classic approach, where you only assign pixels that are from a certain threshold to be anomalous. And that's the overall result. Overall, the machine learning based models were far better than the classic threshold based. As you can see, the local outlier factor is performed much better than the local threshold. In terms of recall, which is the rate that the models gets right when there is a flaw, is much better than the threshold based. So the threshold based in many situations does not detect a flaw at all. But as you can see, the precision is not best. So there are many instances where the model classifies a normal tile as an anomaly. This comes down mainly to our decision during the grid search. Here is the confusion matrix of this first best performing model. During grid search, we try to optimize the F2 score as much as possible. So we thought that the model committing a false negative, which is saying that a false positive, which is saying that there is a flaw when in fact it does not, is far better or far less worse than committing a false negative, which is saying there is not a flaw when in fact there is. So that's why we opted to optimize the F2 score which yielded relatively poor precision, but still better than the threshold based. And if we instead try to optimize the F1 score, the result is more balanced in terms of false negatives and false positives. Namely, you can see that the model commits more false negatives, which is critical in NDT, but at the same time, it commits way less false positives. So here's some qualitative results of some inspections. Here, the acoustic lens is inspecting this pipe sample from the outside as exactly in this region. So we can see clearly two echoes from flaws, and the model was fortunately able to capture both flaws. But in this case, I believe it is where the model really shines. So here, as you can see, we're inspecting a really small flaw, about 2 millimeters with a diameter of about 2 millimeters. And the sectoral scan can indeed show the flaw amplitude, but it's really among the geometrical artifacts. And the model was able to properly capture that there is an anomaly in this region. And that is the scenario where I believe that this model could really shine, especially compared to the classic threshold-based. Well, a good question about our approach, I believe, would be, is anomaly algorithm, or anomaly detection algorithms, the best approach for this problem? And I believe that's a valid question. The downside of using, I mean, the positive side of using an anomaly detection algorithm is that you can detect any type of flaw with different shapes. But the downside is that you detect anything that does not appear in the test, in the training set, as an anomaly or a flaw. So for instance, here is an artifact, probably due to water turbulence, that the model classified as a flaw, when in fact it is not. And here I put some an interesting result where the model classified these two features as flaws. And I find it quite weird when analyzing the results. And when I double checked, I saw that in fact I mislabeled during the manual labeling of the data set. So the model was right, and in fact the human labeler, which was me, was wrong. So after that I corrected the labeling. So overall, I believe that the model, the best performing model, which was based on local outlier factor, performed really well in terms of the quantitative metrics. And since the model does not rely on being trained on specific flaw geometries, it can detect a huge range of flaws and anomalies in the pipe. And also, compared to the classic threshold-based, it showed a huge improvement. So overall, I believe that our model could be a good alternative compared to the classic threshold-based, especially when the signal-to-noise ratio is not ideal. So the flaw amplitude can be compared to the geometrical artifacts. And as future works, I believe that extracting features through more advanced techniques, such as convolutional neural networks, could be a good idea. Exploring more complex architecture for anomaly detection, such as those based on deep learning. And finally, not only to detect the location of the flaw in the presence, but also characterize somehow the flaw in terms of shape and size. In here, just a sneak peek of some work I had done with deep model. In the deep model, as you can see, instead of classifying tiles, discrete tiles, it creates what we call an anomaly map, which is an image where each pixel is assigned a score. And the score is related of how likely is to be an anomaly in that pixel. The data set is available, openly available for anyone that wants in this link. And also the code is also available in this link, where it attaches a GitHub page. Questions you can send me through email, and thank you very much.
Beleza, obrigado, Khalid. Então já tem resultados preliminares do Deep Learning.
Faz tempo, mas ficou na, como é que é o nome? Geladeira. Na geladeira, essa era a palavra, ficou na geladeira. Mas é bem interessante.
Ô, Khalid, é legal você, parabéns aí pelo resultado. Posso fazer um comentário, cara?
Pode.
Tranquilo? Eles até detectou ali a falta a sombra, né, na parede. Acho que isso pode realçar, né? Que é legal, que o cara que não sabe olha e acha que está errado, mas na verdade está mais certo ainda, né?
De fato, eu quis falar pouco, assim, mas isso é interessante que, se você for ver o Ground Truth, esse modelo aqui baseado em Deep Learning, ele baseia-se muito no que a gente, no Ground Truth durante o treinamento. E é interessante, desculpe, não se baseia, mas o que eu quero dizer é o seguinte, ele não precisa de nenhum labeling durante o treinamento, mas mesmo assim ele conseguiu detectar que existia uma correlação entre falha e a sombra, né? Então, digamos, na cabeça da máquina, digamos assim, onde tem uma sombra, pode muito provavelmente ter uma falha, né? É interessante isso, né? E
Bem
também,
legal.
se você for ver, não é nem só a sombra, mas até ele existe esse rastro assim abaixo dele, né? Que a gente não, às vezes a gente não consegue capturar muito bem, mas ele percebe que existe alguma coisa aí esquisita nessa região.
Legal. É bacana.